Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about radiant methods of defending. I'm on the map Bind, which is one of my favorite maps, probably one of yours as well. If it's not, that's okay. We're just going to be talking about the conceptual ideas that you need to apply to Valorant when defending. So when you're defending, there's a couple ways you can do this. So of course you have options on Bind. There's actually 4 places that you can defend, here, 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 here. There. But when you're on Bind, or any map, whenever you're defending, you can either play really defensively or you can go for peeks. You usually only want to go for peeks if, one, you're a duelist, or maybe say so say they've gone B like 4 rounds in a row, and you're not a duelist, you still might want to peek here just to see, to get early information. It's not really about taking the fight, it's more about okay, are they A? You might just want to peek short, honestly, because, you could just hold like this, something like this, hold a tight angle just for information. And this is the scenario, like I said, if they're going B a lot and they haven't came A, then you wanna see if they're here, right? Because if they're here, then they swap from B, which is really important to your team because your team is probably stacking toward B. So if you're a duelist, it doesn't really matter if they push somewhere. You really, as a duelist, you want to try to predict where they're going. So say they've gone A. Or say they just went B and they lost really hard, then you could probably come B and predict it. We could peek shower like this, kind of just waiting for them. We can also fight short. So the reason that it's okay to do this as a duelist, and the reason that you should expect to play against this whenever you're on attack against a good duelist, is because you see right now I have this ability. It's called dismiss. I could just get out for free. So if I get a kill, I just come all the way back to here, and I don't have to worry about dying if I get the kill. And if I'm confident in my ability to get the kill, then, there's no problem. So a lot of the time, though, you'll do this aggressive play, and then, or a lot of time you just won't want to play aggressive for whatever reason. Like, say the enemies are really good at droning or clearing corners. You really won't want to play that far up. That doesn't mean that you can't or you can't try to, but it just means you probably want to play a little bit more passive. So, for example, you really just want to let the enemies come to you on attack, or on defense is what I'm telling you. Enemies on attack should have to come to you. You shouldn't just give them free kills or free sight space. This spot right here is quite good. It holds showers and you're watching short, kind of. You just have to worry about someone basically walking up, which people probably won't do until, high ranks. Because it's, a really weird play. We can go ahead and go over to B, just for fun. So yeah, those are the main things. You have to figure out where you want to play first of all. Second of all, you have to figure out if you want to play aggressive on defense, peak angles for either info or for just getting kills. Or you have to figure out if you want to play passive because you're not a duelist, or even if you are a duelist just because you've gotten killed a few times or you've gotten droned and it's too hard to play aggressively. So the examples of that here might be, if you want to peek aggressively, you can just peek all the way out here like this, go for a kill, dismiss back, and then you're basically just home free. More defensive spot would be like this. This is still aggressive in the grand scheme of things. If you're a sentinel playing right here, this is kind of aggressive, but if you're a duelist, this is middle ground. If you want to play really passive, you can just sit back here, back sight, kind of just hold hookah from here. You can also fight long from here like this, garden I mean. So of course you can come all the way back and spawn, and that's quite passive. But as a sentinel, usually playing back here, that's how you defend. Again, this is about holding the sight down. It's not really about getting kills. But if we're a duelist, again, you might want to play aggressive, so you can peek long like this. This is a pretty common play, just to see if there's anyone long. Again, you can do this, for example, if they've gone A 4 rounds in a row and they've won, and you don't really want to leave B as a sentinel. It's okay to peek here, right? It's okay to peek. It's even okay to peek over here. It's only okay if they've gone a certain site so many rounds in a row, and you're really just trying to see if scout for information. You don't want to just run down because they might actually have one player just sitting here waiting, which is pretty common in high ranks as well, to make sure that you're not lurking up behind them. But yeah, so basically to recap, you want to figure out where you're gonna play, figure out if you want to play aggressive or passive. Mainly, as a general rule of thumb, duelists are going to be playing slightly more aggressive on defense, of course, and on attack, but we're talking about defense. So, but that doesn't mean that you should always be playing aggressive. Also, you should be swapping up your position. If you're a duelist on defense, you should be trying to go to all of these areas, and maybe peeking them aggressively, or maybe just kind of chilling at these spots, right? The less aggressive ones. And yeah, so if you want to play more passive, make sure you're finding a good spot on site. Make sure when you play really passive or defensive that you don't just sit back like this and let them take all of sight for free. This is okay to do if like your teammate died or something and you traded one. It's like a 4v4. You can let them have sight because you don't just want to die. If the whole team's pushing and it's like you versus like 4, you probably don't really want to try to, you know, especially if you're not a duelist, you probably don't really want to go for the fights. It's good to regroup in that scenario. But what I'm trying to explain here is just try not to let them take sight for free. If it's like, you know, if your teammate's in hookah still and you're just like here, don't just run away or don't just play from back here because there's really no point. A good spot would be like, you know, like I said, back sight is always really good if you're like a sentinel. Over here is pretty good. It's not as good for a sentinel because you can kind of get stuck here pretty easily, than like naded or mollied out. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions about this, let me know. But without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one.